In a world where love fades, loyalty bends, and power is the only language understood, one man dared to speak the brutal truth. His name was Niccolo Machiavelli, and his words still echo through the chambers of leadership, war, politics, and the human heart. What if being feared is not cruelty, but wisdom? What if deception is not immorality, but survival? In this 5-chapter journey, we uncover the hidden principles of Machiavelli's thought, lessons not for the faint-hearted, but for those who dare to lead, conquer, and rise. This is not a guide for the virtuous. It is a blueprint for the victorious. Fear, love, and the anatomy of power. Machiavelli's most famous dictum, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both," sets the foundation for his political philosophy, one rooted not in idealism, but in reality. In a world where appearances often triumph over substance and loyalty is easily traded for convenience, affection is fragile. Fear, on the other hand, is a firmer grip on the human psyche. A ruler who is feared commands obedience not out of passion, but out of survival, a far more predictable motivator. But Machiavelli does not endorse cruelty for its own sake. He distinguishes between destructive tyranny and calculated control. He writes, "Men should be either treated generously or destroyed, because they take revenge for slight injuries. For heavy ones they cannot. The lesson is simple: half measures breed enemies. If mercy is chosen, let it be whole and generous. If action must be harsh, let it be decisive and final. To lead effectively is to walk the razor's edge between admiration and dread. And when that balance cannot be maintained, fear becomes the safer path. It may not endear a ruler to his people, but it ensures that betrayal is checked not by virtue, but by consequence. Furthermore, the wise man does at once what the fool does finally. In a volatile world, hesitation is often fatal. Procrastination gives opponents room to maneuver. The intelligent leader is not just shrewd, he is swift. Authority is not maintained through deliberation alone, but through action, timed with precision and executed with confidence. In Machiavelli's world, power is not gifted. It is secured, defended, and maintained. And while love may win hearts, it is fear that guards thrones. The circle of counsel and the mask of deception. The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. No ruler acts alone. The strength of leadership is mirrored in the quality of counsel it surrounds itself with. Weak advisors flatter, strong ones challenge. A wise leader welcomes contradiction, not as a threat, but as a safeguard against blindness. And yet, while trust in the right allies is essential, trust in the wrong hands is ruinous. Machiavelli cautions, never attempt to win by force what can be won by deception. The battlefield is not always made of stone and steel. It is often made of words, illusions, and strategies. A cunning mind can achieve through manipulation what an army cannot achieve through violence. To deceive is not to be evil. In Machiavelli's view, it is to be strategic. Fortune favors the fox more than the brute. Appearances, not intentions, win crowds. For men in general judge more by the sense of sight than by the sense of touch. Perception is reality. The wise ruler wears masks, not to hide, but to rule more effectively. The leader must also evolve. As Machiavelli writes, whosoever desires constant success must change his conduct with the times. Flexibility is not weakness, it is survival. Static leaders perish when the tides shift. Adaptation is the armor of the intelligent, the weapon of the victorious. A fox for traps, a lion for wolves. The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. Thus, the ideal ruler must embody both, the brute force of dominance and the delicate calculation of strategy. The bold hand of fortune. In one of his more controversial metaphors, Machiavelli compares fortune to a woman, unpredictable, wild, and resistant to those who approach her meekly. It is better to be impetuous than circumspect, he writes, because fortune is a woman, and if she is to be submissive, it is necessary to beat and coerce her. While the language is jarring by modern standards, the underlying message is about boldness over timidity. Fortune does not smile on those who wait patiently. It rewards those who seize her, who dare, who act. Caution breeds hesitation, and hesitation births regret. Fortune bends for the man who breaks the mold. Machiavelli believed that most people are governed not by reason, but by emotion, appearances, and fear. The vulgar crowd is always taken by appearances, and the world consists chiefly of the vulgar. Therefore, a ruler must learn to manipulate image as much as policy. Public perception often matters more than private virtue. This is why the promise given was a necessity of the past, the word broken is a necessity of the present. Loyalty to yesterday's vow may jeopardize today's survival. The ruler must be fluid, his word firm when needed, and dispensable when it threatens the state. Morality, to Machiavelli, is a luxury, not a necessity for those who wish to retain power, and those who live by ideals alone, who seek to act virtuously in a world of wolves, will be devoured. A man who wants to act virtuously in every way necessarily comes to grief among so many who are not virtuous. The anatomy of obedience and the nature of control. True leadership is not just about rule, it is about command. He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command. Authority is not demanded, it is asserted, often without speaking. A ruler must project dominance, but also competence. The voice must carry weight, not just through power, but through presence. And to lead effectively, one must eliminate threats entirely. Whoever conquers a free town and does not demolish it commits a great error and may expect to be ruined himself. Conquests are illusions. If a threat is subdued but left intact, it will one day rise again. Mercy, when misplaced, is a seed for rebellion. Machiavelli also urges leaders to cultivate honesty, not through blind openness, but through the construction of an environment where truth can be spoken without fear. There is no other way to guard yourself against flattery than by making men understand that telling you the truth will not offend you. A leader who cannot bear criticism surrounds himself with mirrors that reflect only illusions. And yet, the highest act a leader can perform for another is not giving riches, but revealing their power. The greatest good you can do for another is not just to share your riches, but to reveal to him his own. Empowerment creates loyalty. Revealing strength inspires unity, time, ambition, and the cycle of change. As life progresses, clarity sharpens. The more sand has escaped from the hourglass of our life, the clearer we should see through it. Time becomes the great revealer, not only of truth, but of self. With age, a ruler must see more deeply, past illusions, past manipulations, into the architecture of human ambition. Men rise from one ambition to another. First, they seek to secure themselves against attack, and then they attack others. Security breeds appetite. Those who seek only to survive will one day seek to dominate. This is the cycle of power, defense leading to offense, protection morphing into conquest. Change, in this light, is both inevitable and necessary. One change always leaves the way open for the establishment of others. The leader who initiates transformation controls its trajectory. The one who resists change is swept away by it. In the end, Machiavelli is not advocating for cruelty, nor deceit as a default. He is presenting the unfiltered mechanics of power. A leader who loves too much may lose the throne. A leader who fears too much will never take it. The art is balance. The goal is longevity. To rule is to understand man's nature, not as it should be, but as it is. And to lead well, one must embrace both the darkness and the discipline that the crown demands. Machiavelli never asked you to be loved. He asked you to be remembered. In the theater of power, it's not kindness that holds the throne, it's control, it's clarity, it's the courage to do what others won't. So ask yourself, do you want to be admired or obeyed? In the end, history does not praise the gentle, it bows to the relentless. Choose your path wisely, because the crown is heavy and the game is real.